So what's good? What's going on with the Starts Within organization today?
Well, today we did Lancaster Southeastern Correctional Institution. Monique Nesbitt, she's another facilitator. She's a motivational speaker. She went in today and she talked about enemy within, the enemy in me. So yeah, it was a real powerful piece. The guys were receptive. We did it in the gym. The gym was blazing hot, and me, you know, I was sweating bullets because that's what I do. So yeah, but it was pretty good. It was definitely a good thing. It was powerful.
So was this working with the 10 participants or?
No. Actually, Israel Wright, he came in today too as well. He came in today to work with the 10 participants. These participants, they are the guys that have met the criteria, and they get all of the resources. Basically, we work with those 10 people individually. Like we work with their individual credit reports. We work with their individual resumes, and we get them together individually. This was for the general population. So we do that every other week with the general population to try to touch everybody. So we get the people who don't meet the criteria to basically get it on their mind to say, you know what, hey, if we get our stuff together, we can get into the Starts Within organizations program, and we can have the information to become a walking logo as well.
So what you're saying is you have facilitators go in every 2 weeks and give workshops? And that's different from the 10 participants?
Yes, correct. Basically, we talk about some of the same things that they talk about with the 10 participants, but the difference with that is we work with the 10 participants individually. We work with their individual credit reports. We work with their individual resumes. We work with them one-on-one. With the workshop, is just general information. So we have the information. We still talk about credit. We'll still talk about effective communication. We still talk about employment skills, job skills, interpersonal skills, life skills. We still talk about all of these skills, but we don't take each individual with the workshops. So that's one of the things that we do. We feel like that this is something that can get the guys on board, which we need. Which we want. That's what we're pushing for, is to get the guys on board so then they can turn from liabilities in the community to becoming assets in the community.
What's the criteria to be a part of the 10?
The criteria to be part of the 10 is you have to have your GED or your diploma. This shows that they have already started to say, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna start to do something with myself, and I'm gonna start to change, because I feel like that where I was at, it wasn't the right place. So then this shows some kind of assertiveness, which we definitely look for. We look for that, and we also require that they don't have no hold shots. Hold shots is jail inside of jail. So that's what we look for. We look for how are they carrying themselves inside of the penitentiary right now. You know, I mean, are they the type of guy that gets into trouble and things like that, and still getting into trouble inside of there? If they are, then that's when they are ready for the workshops. They can come to the workshops, but they're not ready for the 10 participants. This is one of the things that I've seen. This was a part of the problem that I have seen with people with the resources, people who have resources out here. And in society, is that they say, you know what, hey, we gave this guy a chance, we gave that guy a chance, and they screwed it up. But you know what, they never did sit back and think like maybe that person wasn't ready for that chance yet, you know? So this is what we do. See, me being in the penitentiary for 10 years, I understand what's what. So when I sit down and I evaluate the participants, I say, you know what, okay, this guy, come on, let's go. Let's go. And I set the criteria like it needs to be, so it'll weed out all of the people that might squander the resources.
So you're saying that there's 10 people in your program that have been specifically selected by you who they have their head on straight, they're ambitious, they want to take advantage of this opportunity. And those 10 people that you work with can then go and influence the population for the other people who are not ready. Well, once they start to influence those people, then the people start coming to the workshop who are not a part of the 10. and they'll get their chance to come into the program once the 10 graduate. And so you're basically saturating the market with the Starts Within organization.
Exactly right. That's the movement all in itself. We say out of 10 people or whatever, well, right now it's the 10 people, so out of 10, out of 1,000, the 10 will influence the 1,000. Just like if you have a set of 10 people and you have 3 people going the right way, we count on those 3 to influence the 7. You know, I mean, just to show them a different way. Like, that's something that I do when I come in and they can see me, and this is what I'm saying, this is the cool thing to do now. Being able to, you know, come home when I want to come home, get up when I want to get up, eat when I want to eat, open the refrigerator when I want to open the refrigerator. Beautiful living. So, I mean, this is something that's definitely big. But you're right, saturating the market with the Starts Within. Get people on saying, hey, I want to get myself together, get myself tight, because I feel like that it's an end to my means. You understand?
So Lancaster today, Marion yesterday?
Marion was yesterday. Marion, I co-facilitate Real Talk. It's a Real Talk program that the offenders inside have created, and I co-facilitate that program. So I go inside of Marion. I do that once a week. This is the third group we have, and it's for 10 weeks. So I'm going on my 21st week inside of Marion. And we work, and we got about 35 people in this group right here. This is just basically self-development. This is personal development. You know, we're talking about self-love and self-respect, knowledge of self. We're talking about the basics of changing. So that's what the Real Talk program is about, but it's definitely a good program. And inside of there, you know, I slide in my things about credit and things like that, and some of the steps that I have taken since I've been home. I give them my experiences. You know, experience is something that's definitely big. People learn from experience. So that's what I give them is experience. Experiences that I learn from, you know, and I don't hold nothing back. My life is an open door for them to succeed as well.
So what it kind of sounds like is at Marion, you're doing the bi-weekly workshops, basically getting individuals ready for the Starts Within programming. So that would be nice to get the Starts Within programming over to Marion, because it sounds like you're working with guys who are ready for an opportunity.
Most definitely. With Marion, that's what we're doing. We're targeting Marion right now, and I go in to interview, not interview, but I actually go in to promote, to present the program to Marion right now, and we're going to implement Starts Within inside of Marion. So it won't be Real Talk. Real Talk is still going on, but we are planning to implement Starts Within in Marion. The thing about that is just trying to make sure that we have the resources to be able to do 2 institutions, because I really don't want to pull back from Lancaster. I want to do Lancaster and Marion. That's the vision, because it's like we could touch both institutions. So that's where I'm moving towards, and I'm trying to work it out in my mind right now to be able to have my facilitators go to both institutions. It's going to be difficult, because right now the facilitators are doing everything pro bono, and we had just filled out the 1023 with Capital University, and we sent that in, so we're not eligible for grants just yet. But we paid for the 520. We paid for the 1023, the 501c3 with the government. We paid for that, the $850 filing fee. So when that comes through, then we'll be able to have more funds that we can pay our facilitators, because it's difficult to get them to come out of their livelihood and dedicate themselves to a mission like this, so without compensation.
Wow, so if an individual does contribute to the Starts Within organization, it sounds like not only are they touching the guys who are incarcerated, which are fathers and which are resources to the community, but you're touching the families associated with those incarcerated, you're touching children, you're touching society as well, touching everybody. Everybody is affected by incarceration.
Ain't no doubt, and that's 100%, because it's like, I mean, right now, and incarceration. One thing that people got to understand: incarceration don't just happen inside of the institution. Incarceration is out here on the streets, because you might have people incarcerated to the point where they're not being fathers to their children, or they're not being the man in the household and leading their household. I mean, that's incarceration all in itself. You know, they might be afraid of what they can become. You know, and so they don't ever change, or they don't ever accept change, because I believe that everybody changes. It's just about if you embrace that change. But a lot of people fight change, even though it's inevitable. So, I mean, but that's something that's big. So incarceration definitely affects everybody. And what Starts Within does is fight incarceration. We fight incarceration out here on the streets. Like, people out here on the streets is incarcerated, and you get incarcerated by lack of knowledge. Like, lack of knowledge is definitely ways to be incarcerated, and this is what we fight. So we just pump information out there like none other. Like, that's what we about, is pumping information.
Why? Why do you do what you do? Why
Well,
do you go inside institutions and work with individuals? Why do you work third shift and come home and 2 hours of sleep and you right back at it with the Starts Within? Why do you do what you do?
Well, I do that because it's I got an understanding. I've been blessed with an understanding, and it's like, man, this is the way to win. You know, this is winning for real. And the thing about it is that back then I felt like, you know, hey, I was winning, so I was willing to give that information. It was just poison. It was about selling drugs, and this is how you survive in the dope game. And that's what I was on. It was just like, man, I was telling people, and I was sincere in giving that information. And by being sincere and giving that information, I found out that I was influential. You know, I had people that was listening to what I was saying. So that's what I switched that up, and now I'm saying, you know, after figuring out, I found out a new understanding, and I figured out a new truth, and the new truth is, you know what, hey, not putting myself in a position where I'm going to end up in a penitentiary or end up dead, because that's what that game gets you. But I didn't figure that back then. I thought that it was going to be able to get me good stuff. I thought that it was going to be able to give me my own business. It was going to be able to give me freedom. It was going to be able to provide for my family. So that's why I did it. So right now, that's what I'm doing. It's just my spirit. My spirit runs me. That's what runs me. My spirit to be as real as I can possibly be. I was always just driven by the spirit of being real. So even when I was doing fake stuff, which was selling dope and selling crack in my community, I felt like that was real at the time. My spirit wouldn't have let me do things like, if I wouldn't have looked at myself and said, you know what, hey, this is some real stuff. I felt like it was real. I said, you know what, hey, I told myself they gonna get it from somebody. They might as well get it from me, and I might as well make a profit and make something off of that money, and then I'll create opportunities inside of the community with my family and everything else. This was something that was driving me. That still drives me. That's why I created relationships when I was inside of the streets, and I still have those relationships. People that are still there and willing to help out what Starts Within. And I'm going back in right now and pulling the guys that are in the streets still, and now I'm showing them the Starts Within organization. See, it don't just stop with just the institution. It's going inside of the communities as well.
So it sounds like you're very passionate about this. You're very driven. But my question to you is, why should I care?
I know you're exactly right. Deshaun!